Kosuanity era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin sem anumuaye ebre.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
Good evening, Era One radio listeners. Coming to you this evening live from Facebook and YouTube, Modern Ghana Radio and Laurel Live Radio tonight. Our calling number as usual is 240-280-2633. And if you want to text, it's 510-931-0946. And I'm your host, Charles Boison, for the Divine Connection Show. Well, I believe you're all doing well tonight, and it's my pleasure coming your way this evening. Of course, I would have loved my guests to be here, but as you can tell, they're not here at the moment, so I'm not going to let the studio live follow. We still want to bring you some educational material. We want to inform you, we want to entertain you, and we want you to join us and have a fruitful discussion. Tonight, I'm going to continue with what I started last week, that is being intentional about your personal growth. It is something that is dear to my heart because we have to make an effort intentionally to grow. No matter how we do, no matter what words you keep saying, if you don't put mind over it and put intentionality to it, it's not going to amount to anything. So tonight we want to continue with a book study that I started last week that is featuring Dr. John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Lessons on Growth. And so we're looking at the intentionality of our growth. All of us need to grow. We cannot just wish things to come into being. We have to make them come to pass. All right, let me take a quick commercial and then we'll continue.
Kosuanity era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin sem anumuaye ebrem.
All right, so I want to give out a big shout out to Dr. 32, our studio manager, our CEO, for making this platform available. And I also want to thank the Era One team. All right, so tonight there are a few updates. A couple of years ago, maybe getting into 3 years, China made us aware that there was a virus in the system, which later became the COVID-19 because it was discovered in 2019. We all thought COVID was going away, and I think it's pretty much going away. And then other stuff came in. And lately, we had the Ukraine-Russia war. And because of the intensity of that, we almost forgot about COVID. Now, most people don't even put on masks anymore, as though COVID is gone. Well, that also was lingering. We thought the Russian war was going to end in a week, but it's almost 2 months and it's still going on. Now, what we have in the system now is the issue on abortion for those in the United States. We had Roe versus Wade that was ruling the system. Now it's being rumored that it's going to be overturned or something's going to happen. I don't know how you see this issue and where it's going to take us. It's very pathetic. There are too many double standards in the country, in the world. We don't know where we stand. And so we'll see how it's going to run. And I believe Senate is gearing up to vote on what they think should be done. If they get their votes, that is what is going to, parade. So we'll see. We're just praying that the right thing comes to play. But anyway, as I said, we are discussing being intentional about your personal growth. We have to make an intentional effort to grow. It's like God saying that, tell my people that to start doing anything or to wait for God to do things, how about we start making things work so God will support us? Some believe that, okay, let me just chill, sit down and wait for God to do stuff for me. But God is also saying, I want you to make a move and I will direct you. So whilst you are waiting for the spiritual advice or counsel or whatever you want to call it, we have to make a move, and that's very important. So last week, I just want to go back a little bit, and for those who are not here, to do a little recap. I started this book study that I picked, Dr. John Maxwell's book, and we went through the growth mechanism, and there were some assumptions that came to light, and some of it was what? There were 8 assumptions that people actually stick to, which is a misnomer, and we have to stay away from them. Dr. Maxwell calls them the growth gaps. And so last week I mentioned the assumption gap, that people assume that they will automatically grow, which is not the point. And then the knowledge gap, I don't know how to grow. Some also believe that there's something called the timing gap. It is not the right time to begin. That is the assumption some people have. But it's always, every time is the best time to do something. Of course, there are some moments where you want to pray, you want to wait on God before you make a move. But sometimes we procrastinate too much and use that as an excuse. And so we don't make any move at all. That is what we're talking about. And then we have the mistake gap. The assumption is that I'm afraid of making mistakes. That is what some people believe, that I'm going to make a mistake. So because of that, I'm not even going to make a start at all. And then there's the perfection gap. I have to find the best way before I start. If you say you're going to look for the right opportunity to start something, a business or a venture, you might never start, because getting the perfect mix, or you want to meet the perfect lady before I marry, is going to be difficult. So you have to make some move. All right, then we have the inspiration gap. I don't feel like doing it. And last week I started the example where David inspired himself. He inquired of the Lord whether he should pursue. And God told him, boy, go. And he did, and he won victory. So sometimes you have to inspire yourself. If you're looking for inspiration outside, it may never come. So you have to make your own move. And then we also have the comparison gap. Others are better than I am. Many a time we do too many comparisons. We compare ourselves to other people. And as I said last week, the only time you want to do a comparison is to compare yourself to people who have made it big, and you want to study what they did or how they did it to be able to achieve that. Not just a matter of comparing yourself and demeaning yourself and thinking you don't amount to anything. It's not going to work that way. You have to be able to, see some comparison and move forward. And then the 8th one was the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Everybody starts a project and think it's going to be easy. Or some also look at the hugeness of the project and they don't even start at all. Sometimes things are not going to be easy. You're not going to have it placed on your lap. You have to anticipate problems and obstacles along the way, but you have to set your face as a flint and overcome any difficulty. So we're going to continue from there. And so tonight we're going to make a transition. We're going to make a transition to intentional growth. You've been stuck in the 8th assumption that we just mentioned. Now you want to move on. You want to put all the excuses behind you and you want to move on. And so that is what we're going to discuss tonight. As I said, if you want to join us, you can call in 240-280-2633, or you can text 510-931-0946. All right. Let's take a quick message from our real ladies. They were on this Sunday. They were spectacular on Mother's Day, and it was awesome to welcome them back after a little break. All right, so let's listen to their quick message.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common biaye sesi chain, the dead, as in takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era 1 Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era 1 Radio and on Untitled channel. Kaise, so we tie the real in common getting ketia. What brabon tete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting kitty.
Discussion, as I said, my niece is joining us from UK Comfort. You are very, very, very welcome. All right, so we're talking about making the subtopic for our discussion, making the transition to intentional growth. We are going to intentionally make up our mind to grow. We're not going to get stuck to where we were yesterday or last year. We are going to make the effort that we want to grow this year. Whatever resolutions you put there for the 31st of December last year or the first day of January this year, you are going to make sure you are going to follow through. If by this time, the 5th month of the month, you haven't seen any signs of growth, tonight we are going to intentionally make the effort to revisit those resolutions and make them work. If you said you are going to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds this year, it's not going to come by you just sitting on your couch and sloshing with the potato chips. It's not going to come that easy. You have to do something. If it means even running in your bedroom every day, you have to do something so that at the end of the year, you can be able to say that I set this goal and I made it. It's not going to come to you just like that. You have to. If you want to move over to a new job, whatever it is, a new project, they're not going to come easily and they're not going to be slapped into your lap. You have to go after them. And after you have prayed, don't sit there, move. All right, so John Maxwell makes this profound statement that I want to read. He says, growth accelerates if you become intentional about it, and it provides us a way or map to get it done. How do you do that? According to John, you have to ask the big question or big questions. You have to ask very important questions to get you to how you want to be intentional about your growth. This time we are working on ourselves. Everybody should have a time on their calendar where they spend time with yourself. Sometimes we don't even do that. We make calendar for projects, other things, but we don't even have time for ourselves. You have to deliberately make a calendar and put yourself there that I'm going to spend time with myself. And what are some of these questions? Where do you want to go in life? If you are 15, if you are 20, if you are 30, 40, 50, 70, you want to ask yourself, what is the next step? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go in life? What is the direction you want to go? Because if you know where you are going, then you're going to find the steps to get there. Right now, if I want to go to Atlanta, Georgia, either I can fly, not in terms of witchcraft, but then to board a plane or something, or I'm going to drive, I'm going to take a train, I'm going to ask for Uber, whatever. Once you know your destination, then you look for the goals to get there. Of course, you have the big vision, which Habakkuk chapter 2 and John says to put down, write it plainly. Now I know I'm going to Atlanta. How do I get there? It's going to be pretty difficult to walk, so I'm going to find some other means. And I'm going to buy air tickets. I'm going to drive my own vehicle there, take a train or whatever. You have to know where you are going, and then you look for the direction to get there. Thank God now we have MapQuest, whatever you want to use. We all have it on our phones everywhere. It will take you there. You have to know where first you're going. It's like somebody who boards a plane and he or she is asked, where are you going? The person says, I don't know, wherever the plane is going, I'm going. That is not what you want to do. You want to know where you are going. And what is the farthest you can imagine going? One Pastor Otabe said one thing, that nobody is going to place a charge on you for making weird imaginations. If you want to think that you want to go to the moon next year, nobody is going to charge you for thinking that big. If you want to buy a Rolls Royce next year, nobody is going to fault you or take you to jail because you just made that huge imagination. How far do you want to go? That is the question. And how are you going to get there? What is the direction you're going to get there? Once you know where you want to go, the direction you want to go, and how far you want to go, then you can make that intentional decision that this is what I want to achieve for the year. All right. The next thing is that, okay, now you've made your decision. Are you going to procrastinate? Are you going to sit there and wish, oh, I wish my uncle who died last year or 4 years ago will resurrect and come and help me? Too late. Do it now. The word is do it now. Take procrastination from your dictionary. Make it happen now instead of saying, oh, later. And when you retire to bed, ask yourself, did I do it? And last week, I did mention something like short-term goals and long-term goals. If you have long-term goals, of course, it's going to take you much, more years to achieve them. So you have them in your mind that this is what I want to achieve in 5 years or 10 years. But you have short-term goals. Oh, tomorrow, God willing, if Jesus doesn't come up, there's no rapture, and I wake up tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. And you have to make sure the things that you put down, you do them. We are all guilty. I mean, we all find ourselves making plans that never come to pass or we don't follow through. But once you have made up you want to do it, you have to do it. Take away procrastination, because those are some of the things that, hinder us from going forward. You decide you want to do it, do it. Don't say, I know I need to fix my finances, but I will do it later. And Dr. Maxwell says, later is a dream killer. Later, that word later, I'll do it later, is a dream killer. You want to do it now. If it is something that can be done now, do not procrastinate, because as you keep adding days, eventually realize that you can't do it. And then the other point is that face the fear factor. Face the fear factor. Of course, we all go through fears every now and then. You want to start a huge project and you are scared. How am I going to get there? How do I get rid of finances? There's that fear. But sometimes, if you make the first step, the rest becomes very easy to follow through. We have all kinds of fears. We have the fear of failure. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Fear of trading your security for the unknown. Now you feel like you're very comfortable in life. If you venture something that you don't succeed, then you have lost. So whatever you had earlier on is gone forever. Life is full of risk. Fear of being overextended financially. Of course, every good thing most often comes with a price. We didn't buy salvation. It came to us free. But even that, somebody had to lay down his life. So even salvation wasn't free. We didn't pay for it, but somebody laid down his life so that we will receive that salvation. Fear of what others will say or think. This is one of the areas that most of us fall short of. What are people going to think if I start and I fail? If I pull through and it doesn't work? We are always scared of what others are going to say. But if you will go beyond what others think, you will get through. Fear that success will annihilate peers. Some people also have the belief that when I succeed or make progress, my friends are going to shun me. Do you know that when you prosper, you get more friends? That is also one thing. Some people fear that, okay, if I make it, maybe the higher level I go, people will alienate themselves from me. If you continue looking at those fears, then you're not going to amount to anything. But what you have to think instead is that feed your faith and starve your fear. It's an inverse proportional thing. You either elevate one and abase one. You can't have both at the same time. So when you feed your faith and you're optimistic that you can make it, then fear vanishes. I mean, assuming being in a room full of darkness, as soon as that small little light from your phone or somewhere comes through, it begins to shine. And Paul admonishes us in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. He says, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." God did not give us a spirit of fear. He gave us power, what you call the dynamis. He asked us to have dominion and to have a sound mind. If you have this combination, you can break through. And then we also have to change from accidental to intentional. Do not let things happen to you by chance. Of course, every now and then stuff happens to us and we are grateful it did. But do not let things begin to happen to you accidentally. Make sure you are being intentional about some things. Of course, accidents can happen. Some things can help. I mean, if you happen to win lotto, that's fine. Good for you. But how many people win lotto? It doesn't come every day. So you have to be intentional. If you want to prosper, you're not going to sit down and always be dreaming that, oh, I am going to win lotto and so it's going to come easy. No, that is not what it's going to be. All right. So this is a scripture that I pulled out. Many of us believe that things will happen on their own by accident. Quite often, that is not true. Quite often, maybe 80%, 90%, it doesn't happen that way. You have to put in effort. And somebody said, well, success is what? 5% inspiration and 95% perspiration. You have to sweat. You have to pull up that sweat to be able to succeed. And Isaiah 50 verse 7 says, For the Lord will help me, therefore shall I not be confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. What is a flint? A flint is a very hard sort of dark rock, which is used figuratively to express hardness in the Bible. Just like the firmness of a horse's hooves. Very hard, very strong. So set your face like a flint. Do not be moved. If you set your goal and you know you're going to make it, make it. There are people who have set up their mind, they're going to be medical doctors, and they made it. There are many who wanted to graduate as masters or bachelors or whatever, and there were so many obstacles, but eventually they made it. All right, so we want to look at a comparison between something that happens to you accidentally and something that you make intentionally to happen. There are some things that can happen to you intentionally. There are others that you make to happen. And that's what we're going to focus on. All right. I've been talking to myself. Let me take a quick, announcement here, and then we will continue in a jiffy. All right.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
So I believe this big hospital in Ghana, Banahine Hospital, started by making very strong goals that this is what we want to do. They set up the goal, they set up their vision, and they became intentional about it. They looked for a land, they did a search, make sure the land is genuine. They started their foundation, make sure they had the resources behind them. And lo and behold, they had this medical structure that is built that many people can go for medical attention. All right, so we're going to look at the difference, the comparison between accidental growth and being intentional and intentional growth. So if somebody says, okay, I want to grow accidentally, what that person is trying to say is that they want to plan to start tomorrow. But the person who is intentional will insist on starting today. And as the economics will say, all things being equal. All things being equal, this person wants to insist on starting today if they have all the resources, instead of starting later and saying, okay, let me keep procrastinating. The accidental growth person will say, I want to start tomorrow. And that tomorrow comes, keep saying tomorrow. As we all know, we say tomorrow never comes. So you want to be intentional, insist on doing it. It might not be exactly today, but make the effort that you are going to go on to what you plan. Growth that happens accidental also waits for growth. That person will wait to grow. But then if the person is intentional, it takes complete responsibility to grow. You have to be responsible to grow. You want to make up that effort that you really, really, really want to grow. There is that accidental growth pattern and there's one that is intentional. You have to make the effort. I believe Dr. Austus, when he started planning about this radio station, I'm sure he's been nurturing and he had nurtured this thing for quite a time. And then COVID-19 presented itself, and that was the opportunity. And so this is where I have to strike when the iron is hot. And he took advantage. He went intentional about it. And because of that, you and I can listen to Era One Radio and educate ourselves. All right. When somebody says, I want to grow intentional, what that person is also saying is that they want to only learn from mistakes. Sometimes it's good to learn from other people's mistakes, but that's not where you want to be. You want to actually learn before the mistakes come. You want to go ahead of mistakes. Either you want to make sure you are intentionally doing it, or you are being intentional. You want to make sure you want to do this thing to work, not just, oh, I want to try, if I make mistake, I'll continue. No. Sometimes the way you position your mind will actually decide or determine whether you're going to make it or not. And most people who are accidental growers, they depend on good luck. Haven't you heard many people say, oh, if luck strikes, if I get lucky and I win the lotto, if I get lucky and my uncle gives me some extra change, if I get lucky and so and so, luck. It's good to be lucky sometime, but luck is not going to cut it. You have to rely on hard luck. The difference is what? Good luck and hard luck. It's good to have it, but then you have to make sure you are working towards it. So it doesn't just become a good luck, it becomes something that you are working towards. And those who grow accidentally quit early and often. They quit several times. And last week I made an example and difference between someone who just quits in a second and Edison, who did this light bulb thing that we are all enjoying now. He went 999 times, 1,000 times before he succeeded. What would have happened if he stopped at the 20th or the 30th? You and I wouldn't be enjoying this. Maybe somebody else would have had a vision, but wouldn't have had it as early as he did. And he did not quit. He continued doing it. And then accidental growers, they fall into bad habits. That's one thing you want to avoid. You want to eschew from all bad habits. You want to fight for good habit. You have to make sure your character is pulling you through. They say if you do something for a week, it becomes what? Your habit. And later it becomes your character, something that you can stick to. So whether it's good or bad, it stays with you. And those who want to grow accidental, they talk big. I mean, they can yop. Especially some people, I mean, kasa big. We are all guilty. We talk big, I mean, we are way. But talking big, everybody can do it. But you have to be what? Follow through. Whatever you say, you follow through. If you're a man or a woman of your word, if you say something, you are going to make sure whatever you said, you are going to follow through. Because people are listening, especially when you make it so pronounced that, okay, I'm going to do it, especially when it comes to politicians. When they are looking for votes, they will say everything they want to say. And then they get the votes, they get into the power, and either they forget or they realize, oh, I just said it to gain a vote. But if you're a good politician, whatever you say, you are going to stick to it. All right. Those who like to grow accidentally want to play it safe. They want to avoid risk. But if you want to be intentional, taking risk is part of the business. Taking risk is part of the business. Like I used the example of Dr. Ostos. He took a risk. I mean, getting this radio station means what? Making a risk, making sacrifices, spending money and all that, getting instruments and equipment. It means taking risk. You don't even know whether you're going to benefit from what you did, but sometimes you have to take risks. And those who grow accidentally, they think like victims. They want to think like victims. But if you are somebody who wants to grow intentionally, you think like a learner. I want to learn it. I want to do, even if I fail, I am learning. I keep learning. Edison did the same thing. After he made one mistake, he learned not to do it the same way. And that is how he built the light or electricity. If you want to grow accidentally, then you can rely on talent. Talent is good, but do not depend on your talent alone. Those who want to grow intentionally rely on character. You can have the talent. How many people have you not read that they had the talent, they did everything, but in the events, eventually they couldn't sustain it because their character wasn't good? God gives you the talent. Yes, polish it. Add character to it. And they have so much character, they make so much money, and either they become drunkards, they become womanizers, they fail to use the character, and they don't make it. There are some people who made it very successful, but because their character is intact, they are still on the horizon. But if you don't have the character and you just depend on your talent, you are going to fall. And especially too, if somebody wants to be an accidental grower, they stop learning after graduation. Somebody will say, oh, I've received my high school diploma. I have arrived. I can get a job in Burger King. I can get a job in McDonald's, so I have arrived. But those who want to be intentional growers, those who want to grow intentionally, they never stop growing. If you have your high school diploma, you want to say, you know what? I want to go beyond myself. I want to go to college and get my bachelor's. And when they get a bachelor's, you say, you know what? There are some jobs that would not even take only bachelor's. I want to get my master's. And when I get my master's, so you know what? Maybe one day I want to teach. Let me go ahead and get a PhD. Many people I've spoken to say, you know what, me, as for my PhD, I'm not going to go there. They don't want to do it for their own personal reasons, but they have the means to do it. Of course, yeah. Not just having the latest PhD behind you or the preface or doctor, but at least it's a fulfillment. If you can make it, Outgrow yourself. And it comes by what? Not stopping at one level, but going beyond yourself. I don't know if there is anything after PhD or whatever it is, but it doesn't mean after PhD you are done. You can still do a lot. You can still be learning. Don't stop there and say, oh, when you're PhD, you're a doctor, move from a doctor, move from a doctor. That is not where you stop. You go beyond that. And so let me quote Eleanor Roosevelt, which Dr. Maxwell quoted. He said, one's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in choices one makes. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. This is what Eleanor Roosevelt said, one of the wives of the former president. One's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in choices one makes. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. So don't just say, okay, words is enough. You can go beyond that. So it's imperative that we take a look at our calendar and make an appointment for ourselves. Set up a day or some day in the week that as for today, I want to spend 1 hour, 2 hours with myself. How far have I come and where am I going? You can do that. And when you do that, then you are intentionally making the effort to grow. We'll come to the law of our awareness. You have to be aware of yourself. You have to know what you have before you go on. And I'm sure Dr. Ostus is, behind the studio, working for us. All right, let's take a quickie here.
Aden urefiana say to me manya eni about Aden wasu mani su afosunyade Aden meba Aden kra ya useni daswasa eni daso kra eni daso yo eni daso aya mensubi eni daso Aden cry, now you need a suasa. A crans in a diane, then if I didn't sing to mana. Aden me ba, Aden cry, now you need a suasa. To a radi ma woditi me to a sida me radi radi nani kumu ankuma impomwa na uwa waba unsani sasuwa na uma ubiribinie Aden wasuwa mani suwa fosunyade Aden mi ba Aden kra ya usani da suwasa
say oji uhu. For money and you not.
For money and you know. And the so no now can was some to know. Only when yamma or the pa. And the so now some to the sunny so if I do yamma and the so now some to be Yamika and the so
Dancium, Sepe Bessia Manaja, any word that's sunny, Kawakuma to ye. Onyamiani Kubo, Sorre Ramuno Masua, any word that's sunny, Nanikunda. The Frocha Dansumi, Sepe Bessia Manaja, I'm a brewant your dear Kwawa. Obeya mauda Osujami meni orewa Nana nyamini wasitremu Ebrebe swama wayo warifo Kawakuma tu yem Oboniye mensubiem Ebrebe swama wanyabao Mensubiem Yamiani kuo Mibeya mawa Emida susa Emida susa Emida susa yo me pa me subiamo Pristoni ma tu yamo
That is a very nice music. Unfortunately, we would love to play so many music, but then YouTube is something else, you know. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. They are very, very particular about songs that you play because of copyright law. So, you know, there's limited number of music that we can play. But anyway, we'll do our best. Anyway, tonight I'm talking about being intentional about your personal growth. Do you know that if you work on yourself, as an individual, if you work on yourself and that other person also works on his or herself, we all collectively become people who are worked on. For instance, if I work on myself before I met my wife also worked on herself before we met. These are two people who have worked on each other. We have a family and we work on the family. This family that is worked on also becomes what? A worked on community. And this community that is worked on, all of us are worked on each other. We continue to intentionally grow. We become a nation. And if the whole nation is worked on, we all have character and we all have intentionality of growing, then we become international bodies. Can you imagine what a beautiful life that will be if all of us keep working on ourselves? Anyway, I'm just talking about being intentional about your growth. Sometimes we, like I said earlier on, we wait too much on God in the wrong way. God is waiting for us to move, and we are saying, God, we are waiting on you. He wants us to move. He's giving you all the resources, the 5 elements, your senses and sometimes we still sit there, we don't do anything. I have personally decided to grow, and as I speak on these discussion issues, I am also advising myself. I also want to intentionally grow. And speaking about Dr. Ostus wants to intentionally grow this Era One studio. And how do you grow it? You don't grow it just by sitting in your bedroom. It has to be worked on. He's working on it. And I sometimes feel like we all can chip in and help. He dreams about opening this is a non-profit organization. And any profits that will come in, he wants to use it to help and to bless the less fortunate. And I sometimes say it here, we don't beg for nothing. Whatever we do is out of our own volition. But if you are touched and you say, oh, Dr. Ostus, I believe you are doing a good job, call the number 240-2802-633, 240-2802-633, and say, Doc, you are doing a very good job. I want to contribute my widow or my widower's mite to help in what you are doing so you can help the less fortunate in other parts of Africa. And I believe it's going to go a long way to help what he's doing and his cause. And that is what intentional growth. Era One is a 24/7 program. Radio station. We try to bring you news and all kinds of education. For instance, if you have time to listen to Era One on Monday from 6 to 7, we have a premier finance program. And these guys, very learned, smart guys who have studied what it means to go into finances, come to advise us on how to let our money grow for us. Even as you are growing yourself, your character, everything, you also want to let your money grow for you. So when you listen to these programs, they teach you how to invest, how to let your money work for you, and even how to spend the money that you work for. Somebody can be giving. I was surprised. I read on the news that a lady won lottery over millions, and within a matter of a year, she had gone bankrupt. I said, how do you win like 10 million and go bankrupt? Why? Because there was lack of appropriately investing that money or letting that money work. So you don't want to do that. If I get 10 million, trust me, I will make sure I have a bunch of advisors around me. Of course, when you have 10 million, you have people advising you. I'll make sure I get a good counsel. So listen to these guys on Monday, 6 to 7, and get all the advice. Right after that program, our brother Kobe does the Yensum program, and he brings us highlights and news from Ghana. Those of you who have been here for years and you don't know what is happening in Ghana, tune into this program every Monday and Wednesday and listen to this brother. Of course, he doesn't do it alone. He does it with Dr. Ostus and Dr. Endesopokwajiman, 3 gentlemen, and they do very, very, very good job on discussing of this issue. And Tuesdays, I come your way with the Divine Connection. Normally, I have my guests. For some reason, they are on a little break, so I had to step in and do this by myself. It's not easy. So I really miss Pastor Akron and Uncle Max Varden. I want them to come quickly. Hopefully next week they will be here to help me with my Divine Connection. And Thursdays, again, I come again with a Divine Connection. But in the evening from 8 to 9, we have our brother Ejotu, a very prolific, speaker. He comes to Mami B and Dr. Efum. They come to discuss Awaremunsem. That is what I call the adult version of marital issues, and they do a very good job. Friday, we have what we call the Count Your Blessing. Come and listen to how people share their testimony, because sometimes when you listen to the testimony of other people, it gingers you, it inspires you. You want to make the decision to intentionally do what they are doing or to grow. So you want to come and listen to some of these testimonies and some of this inspiration. And Saturdays, early in the morning, even before some of us wake up, Dr. Ostos with his KTK program, all the way from Maryland. He will play music, birthday, inspirational messages. And so if you know of somebody who is celebrating their birthday, surprise them. Just call Dr. Ostos on 240-280-2630 and say, hey, Doc, would you please play a birthday message or song for my niece or my uncle or my wife or anybody? And he will gladly do it. I'm sure I'm going to play a clip of his program very soon. And then on Sundays in the evening, we have our famous ladies, the 4 of them, sometimes 5 of them, led by our first lady, Sister Abna from Poma, Selena, Gifty, Annette, and I keep forgetting this last name, but please forgive me. Sometimes there are 5 of them, something lady. They come and they blow the studio up. Like I said, Sunday, they did something on Mother's Day, showing appreciation to all the mothers, and not just those who are born biologically, but anybody who was giving birth and even taking care of a child, whether by adoption, whatever it is, you are still a mother. So join our ladies on every Sunday from 7 to 8, and you'll be glad you did. We're still talking about being intentional about your growth. Let me find Dr. Ostus' ad, and then we'll continue. So please make a day with Dr. Ostus every Saturday from 6 to 9, and you will have fun. And also, those who are budding musicians, if you're a budding musician, you have the talent. And like I said earlier, don't just depend on your talent, build character. If you have the gift of, a musician, you want to be adored, you want to be exposed, get in touch with this brother. Dr. Ostus will help you. He will interview you, make sure your product comes out, and then the world gets to know about you. I mean, how did the world know about Barack Obama? He just was invited to one of these meetings, political speeches. And he gave one speech and he became a household name. And so when it came for him to stand for president, boom, it happened. So sometimes somebody has to, promote you to the world. And so if you are a talented musician, you want to be exposed, but you don't know how, please get in touch with Era One, Dr. Ostus, and he will interview you Saturdays. And by the time you are a household commodity. All right, let's talk about Kobe for a minute.
Sampaetia Obayansa Puso Bunia one Kana Sam Tema to some Kakre was supreme. Yo, Kofi, Omania woman, Omania Mamma, Denny baby, Wachata, Diawari, one song, one in pa, as I did power of you.
All right, so this song aptly describes what we need to do. Uncle Ato in this song is saying that so money be which means if the country or wherever you are is going to be developed, it depends on not just one person but all of us. We can go to IMF and borrow all the money we want to borrow, but if we do not have the intentionality to build the economy, the country, with a good character, accounting for every dollar, every city, then we're going to be still standing in the same place. Listen to Kobe on Mondays and evenings and get extracts from what is happening in other parts of the world. And so to add up to what I'm saying, that song actually hits a nerve that we have to make that intentionality. We have to make that effort to make things work. You can go for all kinds of loan. You can do whatever you want to do. But if you don't have that strategy, if you are not being intentional, go collect the money, spread it among yourself or whatever, it's not going to end anywhere. You have to have that vision that I'm going to collect this thing and work with it and make it work. That is when you can account for it. Because, if you keep going and they give it to you, what are you doing? You are not helping yourself. You are not helping the economy. So we have to be intentional about anything. I want to end on this note, the law of awareness. The law of awareness in the book study that we're doing tonight, Dr. Maxwell makes this clear that you must know yourself to grow yourself. If you don't know who you are, how are you even going to know where to start from where you are going? Years ago, while growing in Ghana, I read a book which was titled Man, Know Thyself. Man, know thyself. Who you are. And Maxwell says that anyone who wants to grow must know himself or herself. This is what I call or I tag personal SWOT analysis. In business school, in management, this was my favorite topic, SWOT analysis. You have to know your S, your strength, your W, your weakness, your O, your opportunities, and your threats. What are your strengths? I had an interview a few days ago, and he asked me, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? And Sometimes that is a trick question. Of course, everybody wants to talk about your strength. What makes you you and what puts you on the edge? What makes you not superior, but then gives you that competitive edge and makes you better in some things than anybody? What are your strengths? Are you a prolific writer? Are you a speaker? Some people are gifted with speech. They can take just one word and flip it 180 degrees and you say, wow, this is a word. And then they ask you, what is your weakness? This is what I struggle with. What is your weakness? Of course, everybody has weakness. But when you go for interview, that's not where you're going to express all your weakness. Oh, I am late to work every day. Oh, I am doing this, and my friend, you won't get a job. So sometimes you have to be very astute on. And then what are your opportunities? Everybody has opportunities. And last, you can say something like, when you have opportunities and you have preparation, that is what leads to success. What are your opportunities? What are the things that come your way that wait, there is a fine opportunity? Because opportunity comes but once. Sometimes you might get a second chance, but the opportunity that you get, please don't let it fly by. Use it. And what are the threats? What are the things that scare you? What are the things that make you feel like, as for this, I can't do it? Or even if you are in business and you are doing a SWOT, I think I did that with Pastor Cross some time ago. You are in business. What are your threats? What are the things that scare you? I mean, are you scared by people having quality products than you do? You have to know your SWOT analysis. You have to know yourself, know your weaknesses. It's not bad. It's not bad to know what your weaknesses are. But then, if you know and you don't work on it and you stay there, that is the bad thing. God gave us strength and gave us weaknesses. Know your weakness. Use that weakness, your weakness, and turn it around. Use it to be something good. Somebody's weakness might be somebody's strength. So know who you are. Do a personal SWOT analysis every day. What are the strengths that have been given to me in life? What are the gifts, the talent that God gave me? What are my weaknesses? What makes me not go forward? If I want to grow intentionally, so say me come and say me be then a cheme sign. Then remember, what are the things that will weaken you? You have to know your weakness. Once you know them, you capitalize on it and turn it around and use it for something good. Oh, I am this, I'm not very good at this. Or maybe somebody says, oh, as for me, I don't like speaking in public. Well, that might be your weakness. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let that thing become your weakness forever? Why don't you think about, changing around? Of course, we all know about President Biden. He used to be a great time stammerer. Do you see him stammering these days? No. I mean, every now and then, traits might show up, but then the man has overcome his stammering attitude. And now he's a prolific speaker. I mean, when he speaks, you can hear this is an elderly man speaking. Use your weaknesses and flip them around. Look for your opportunities and make it work for you. It is easy to recount where you've been, but it's important to know where you want to go. We all know our past. Oh, yesterday I did this. I ate this for breakfast. I ate this for lunch. I went to this place. I was in Charlottesville. Oh, today I'm here. Where are you going? What is your future? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be? Especially college students. Some will say, oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Begin to know about it. Begin to pray about it. What do you want to do? Of course, sometimes you have all these courses being exposed to you. You don't know. But some people too are born right from, let's say, 2-3 years. They know who they want to be. You can see some boys tearing up toys and doing all kinds of things. Oh, as for me, when I grow, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to be a car builder, whatever it is. Somebody so, oh, I want to be a nurse. You can know what you want to be in future. But even if you don't know, start praying about it. Do you have a sense of direction? Do you know where you want to go? Or are you just going to say, oh, near to me be near didn't be my pencil? It's good. We used to sing that song. Near didn't be it is good. It's a good song. You are just asking the Lord to, wherever He places, He knows best. But sometimes we can do something about our life. God, this is where I find myself. This is where I want to go. Change your destiny. Jacob had the same experience. He went to his uncle Laban's place. He wanted Rachel to marry. And they swapped and gave her the firstborn. He had to work again. You have to know your direction. What do you want? If this guy settled for Leah, that's what he would gotten. But he said, you know what? I want Rachel. No, even if I have to work 20 years, I don't know whether I could do it. But Jacob is Jacob. He decided to do it. I don't think I can work 20 years. Maybe it depends. But for, a whole 14 years for one chick, that guy had anointing. Anyway, I'll leave it there. To reach your potential, you must know where you want to go and where you are currently. Know where you are so that you can say, oh, I was here last year. This is where I want to be. Even if you want to save money, oh, last year I was able to save $100. This year I want to do 200. Know where you were last year and make an approach to change it. Our New Year resolution should not only be on paper. Of course, we have to remember to put it on paper and run with it. But don't let it stay on paper. Let it become a reality. When it comes to having direction for your life, Dr. Maxwell proposed 3 kinds of people. There are 3 kinds of people. When I read it, I was so excited. He said, people who don't know what they would like to do. And these are the people they called confused people. As for these people, they don't know what they want to do. I mean, as for them, anything goes. If I go board a plane, wherever the plane is going, I am going. I mean, years ago, we just go and board a bus or something. I mean, you want to enjoy the ride. You sit in the bus, and the bus will take you to the end of the station. Everybody's getting down, and you are still sitting at the back, and the mate will say, hey, brother, hey, Sana, I want to go again. And if you have a good mate, they will take you around again, go to another. That's not what you want to do. You want to know where you want to be. You want to know. Sometimes it's difficult. It's not easy making up your mind on some things, but there are people who are very definite and precise. They know what they want to do. And the second group is people who know what they would like to do, but don't do it. This is serious. And Bible calls them what? Sinners. If you know what is right to do and you don't do it, then it's a sin. You've missed the mark, Hamashiach. It is very difficult that you actually know what you want to do, but you don't do it. That is even serious. If you don't know what you want to do, that's an excuse, which though ignorance says no excuse. But then you know what you want to do, but yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, but mean sorry. Young friend, young can just my major man. I say, I want to do this. I want to do this today. I want to go here today. You won't go. I want to go look for a job today. You won't go. You just sit down. You look at the resume and then you put it back. Beloved, that is bad. If you don't know what to do, that is different. But if you know and you don't want to do it, that is bad. And the third, so these are the second group I call those who are frustrated. They are frustrated people. I mean, they know it, but they don't want to do it. And the third group is what? People who know what they would like to do and do it. These are the people we call the fulfilled people. They know themselves. They possess a strong sense of passion, and they are focused in life. They know what they want to do, and so they want to do it. So, beloved, tonight, well, I hope next week I get my crew to come and help me out. But then, for these 2 weeks, I've been trying to preach this message about being intentional, because if we are intentional about so many things, we will not let anybody bully us. It's unfortunate that there are so many charlatans in the system. I mean, they will take advantage of you, especially if you have no knowledge. They will take advantage of you. They will tell you, oh, do this, and this will happen. I mean, we've all been bullied. We've all been cheated years ago, but now somebody says we have to shine our eyes. We have to shine our eyes and see what is going on around us. You have to be very inquisitive. If you see something, investigate. These days, Google is there. Whatever you put in, I mean, I want to marry tomorrow. You put it in Google and it will give you all the options. Isn't that amazing? I want to be a millionaire tomorrow. You put it in Google, it will tell you all the steps. I mean, IT has come to our rescue. I wonder what our grandparents did without all these gadgets, and they live their boring life. Some even didn't have TV. They just look at each other and they fall asleep. Now we have so much technology. I don't even know what the next 5-10 years is going to be, because in the next 5 years, I'm sure you just have a small chip in your hand. You press on something in your hand and your breakfast is prepared. I mean, can you imagine? Well, my time is almost up. I want to thank Comfort for joining me tonight, and all those who are listening. Please go to Facebook, YouTube, and replay this little sketch and listen to it again. I have preached to myself as well. I'm going to be intentional about my own growth. I'm going to be doing stuff to change my lifestyle. Next year, I want to be a different person, God willing. I want to do something different. I want to be able to change my lifestyle. I want to be able to help my family do something. The resolutions that I make, I'm going to make sure I am following through. As I live here, I'm also going to make sure I do the things that I've spoken to, so that I don't feel guilty. Oh, you told them about this thing and you're not doing it. They call that hypocrisy. You say something, you want to follow through. So I'll meet you again next week. Be good and enjoy life. Let's be kind to one another. All right, I'll leave you with one song and I'll call it a night. All right.
I hear boom boom.